Journalists are calling out Celtic's officials after a controversial penalty decision. There's a major transfer update on Marcelo Saraki's future. Chris Boyd has delivered a brutal verdict on the club, and Martin O'Neill is defending a key selection call. It's been another dramatic 24 hours, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Two Scottish sports writers were left genuinely baffled by the referee's explanation for why Celtic were denied a penalty at a pivotal moment against Hibernian. With the game finally poised at 1-1 and Celtic already down to 10 men, the flashpoint came inside the Hibs penalty area. As a delivery was swung into the box, Liam Scales had his shirt clearly pulled just outside the 6-yard box. It wasn't a slight tug or incidental contact, but a firm grab that visibly impeded him as the ball arrived. The referee initially awarded nothing. VAR checked the incident, and the explanation relayed inside the stadium was that the foul had occurred outside the penalty area. That alone raised eyebrows, given the location of the contact, but the confusion didn't end there. After the match, Martin O'Neill revealed the reasoning he was given by the referee was different again. O'Neill was told the decision was based on the fact that the shirt pull didn't last long enough to warrant a penalty. That reasoning was discussed in detail on the press box, hosted by Graham Spears, where both Robert Grieve and Stephen McGowan expressed disbelief. Grieve explained that Martin O'Neill spoke again after the match, and he said that the referee had explained to him that the pull didn't quite last as long as it did to get a penalty. McGowan immediately challenged that interpretation, asking, "Can anyone point to that in the rule book for me? Where is that in the IFAB rules?" Grieve continued, "That's the point I was going to make. It's a hugely controversial incident for me. It was actually in the same corner before the ball was played in. That led to the red card. Celtic should have had a penalty. They didn't, and they didn't get it clearly. The reference to duration has no obvious grounding in the laws of the game, which judge fouls on the act itself rather than how long it lasts. A clear holding offence inside the penalty area is, by definition, punishable by a spot kick, regardless of whether it lasts 1 second or 3. In a match already defined by fine margins, red cards and momentum swings, the lack of clarity and the conflicting explanations only added to Celtic's sense of grievance. The incident wasn't just about a missed penalty, but about an explanation that appeared to invent criteria that simply don't exist in the rulebook. Now for the main story, as Celtic supporters have been left impressed by Marcelo Saraki's impact this season, with growing hope that the club could explore a permanent deal for the left-back in the summer. The Uruguayan has impressed during his loan spell, offering real quality and depth on the left side. When fit, Saraki has pushed hard for minutes, proving himself capable of starting games or changing the dynamic from the bench. He's given Celtic a different option, particularly during periods when the squad has been stretched. Behind the scenes, Celtic did attempt to include an option to buy in the original loan agreement, but for whatever reason, that couldn't be finalised. As a result, the club don't have a pre-agreed fee in place, meaning any permanent move would now require fresh negotiations in the summer window. Saraki is currently on loan from Boca Juniors, where he remains under contract until the end of 2027. Despite that, it's understood the defender is likely to leave Boca permanently this summer, with the Argentine Giants open to cashing in amid strong interest from Brazil and across Europe. Celtic are not alone in admiring the player. Clubs in Brazil have been tracking his availability, while sides elsewhere in Europe are also expected to make inquiries, the Celtic Way reports. Earlier in the season, figures in the region of £2 million were mentioned as a possible fee. However, after around 15 appearances and a series of assured performances, that price tag is believed to have risen. Boca are aware of the market interest and are unlikely to undersell an asset who has rebuilt his reputation during his time in Glasgow. What is clear is that Saraki has made a strong impression. If Celtic decide to push the boat out, they'll need to move decisively in what is shaping up to be a competitive race for his signature. In other news, Chris Boyd believes Celtic are now firmly in disarray after their damaging home defeat to Hibernian, insisting that a run of late goals in recent weeks has merely masked deeper problems. The former Rangers striker was reacting to Sunday's loss at Celtic Park, a result that further dented Celtic's title hopes and, in Boyd's view, felt inevitable given the way they've been performing. For weeks, Celtic have been living on the edge. Dramatic late winners and last-gasp recoveries may have lifted spirits in the moment, but Boyd argues they've only papered over cracks that have been obvious for some time. Coming from 2 goals down to win in stoppage time or needing a final minute strike after throwing away control is not a sustainable way to chase a title. Against Hibernian, Boyd felt Celtic looked like a side running out of answers. While they might feel aggrieved by key decisions, he believes the bigger issue is that they no longer resemble a team deserving of results based on performance alone. Speaking after the match, Chris Boyd said on Sky Sports, "They're in disarray. There's no getting away from it from Celtic's point of view. You can paper over the cracks with last-minute goals, and Celtic fans will love it. In all years, that's what champions do. The reality is, they were at Livingston, they were at Dundee, and they were at Kilmarnock. Even at home, that would have been an opportunity to close the gap on the teams above them, but you can't keep limping over the line." Martin touched on it last week after the game. He knew back then this couldn't continue. This is the first decent team they've played in a few weeks, and Hibs have gone there and won. From Hibs' point of view, it's a fantastic result. But if you look at Celtic right now, they're in disarray. Celtic now face the second leg against Stuttgart, already trailing 4-1, before travelling to Ibrox next weekend. With confidence fragile and momentum slipping away, he sees the coming days as a defining period in their season, and it is. Late drama might excite supporters in isolation, but it can't disguise a team that's struggling to control games, assert dominance, or impose itself when it matters most. In other news, Celtic's slide in the title race has been described as remarkable by James McFadden after Sunday's damaging home defeat to Hibernian left the Hoops facing an uncomfortable reality. The 2-1 loss at Celtic Park saw Celtic fall further behind both Hearts and Rangers, and there's now a growing sense that attention may soon turn to what's happening below them rather than above. With Motherwell continuing to pick up points, Celtic's margin for error is shrinking rapidly. Sunday's defeat was one that summed up much of Celtic's season. Hibernian struck first before Benji Nygren hauled the Hoops back level just before the interval, offering hope that momentum could swing after the break. At that point, Rangers were losing away to Livingston, and the door appeared open for Celtic to close ground in the race. Instead, the afternoon unravelled. Austin Trusty was sent off, leaving Celtic to chase the game with 10 men. A penalty claim at one end was waved away, and moments later Hibs went up the park to score what proved to be the winner. It was Hibs' first league victory at Celtic Park since 2010. The result leaves Celtic heading to Ibrox next Sunday without Trusty at the heart of defence. Lastly, Martin O'Neill stood by his decision to keep Kasper Schmeichel in goal against Hibernian, despite growing calls for a change before kick-off. The goalkeeper had come under pressure after recent performances, with some supporters urging the manager to hand Viljami Sinisalo a chance. O'Neill resisted that and kept faith with experience for the visit of Hibs. Schmeichel's afternoon was mixed. He made a sharp save from Martin Boyle when Celtic were 1-0 down, keeping the scoreline within reach. He also had moments where the groans returned, especially when playing out from the back under pressure. After the match, O'Neill was asked about the decision and whether it had been a difficult call. He said, "Kasper has been a really fine goalkeeper. He's been a member of a side that won the Premier League way back. Like everything else, you can't rest on laurels for the rest of your life. Everybody moves on, but it wasn't a big decision for me. I think I sat here on Thursday evening and said, he's made some big saves for us, and he made a big save when we were 1-0 down as well. So he came out and he did fine. But I think that competition for places is something that should apply to everybody." That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.